This is it, Dedication Day, May 20th, 1999. Boy, what excitement we're having today, and we've been blessed by a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. We're at the Centennial Plaza and the Children's Fountain. It's being dedicated today to celebrate our centennial year here in Glenview. It's an exciting day. We have school kids from all of the schools in the Glenview district, and we have the Glenview, as you've heard already, the Glenview marching band from Glenbrook South and the Springman band. We're going to have a great program today in dedication of the fountain. It's the Jackman Beer Fountain that was first dedicated in 1917, and it's been restored and rededicated today. The kids are excited. They're seeing the TV cameras and they're going wild. We have thousands and thousands of kids here today, and as you notice, they're all dressed in red, white, and blue to celebrate this beautiful day. We have a program that will be starting shortly with the Park District and many representatives of the community. We have officials from just about every place in Glenview today, plus tons of people in the community from all over. Plus, TCI today has blessed us by having a live television coverage of this event. So here we are with Glenview Television, TCI, and the community of Glenview, Illinois, doing the dedication day of the Jackman Beer Fountain. We will have speeches today explaining the bear. Our Glenview Civic Awards person will be doing our Glenview Civic Awards Youth of the Year. Kate Forget will be talking later on about the speech that Jackman gave when he dedicated the beer back in 1917. So it'll be an exciting day, and as you can see, these kids are really, really excited about everything. Per usual, here in Glenview, we have the metro system. The metro system comes through here and it kind of makes a lot of noise from time to time, so I hope it won't interfere with too many of our speeches today. The school kids were all bussed over here this morning to take into this great event today. It's something that they'll remember and be able to pass on to their children in years to come. The Park District Foundation is the one who started out giving this beautiful, raising the money for this plaza and for the restoration of the bear. Also, what you will see later on is the beautiful, beautiful bronze statue of a little boy and little girl sitting near the fountain. As you can see from the TV camera, they also have the Glenview Centennial flags. Everyone that came today has passed out a Glenview Centennial flag. A 100 years in Glenview. We have a lot of activities that have been planned throughout the year, starting last November and our final one being July 10th. But we'll be having this day today as a very memorable time. I'm assuming that our cameras are getting some close-ups of the children's faces, because they sure are beautiful faces to look at. Behind me is Kevin Christel. Kevin has worked really, really hard on this day, putting it together with the Park District, the Chamber of Commerce, the Park District, the Foundation. All these people have worked very, very hard today to put this together. When anybody has a TV camera, kids go crazy. It's real great. Here's Dr. Billatia right now to start the program.
On behalf of all the residents of Glenview, all of the commissioners on the Glenview Centennial Commission, all the people associated with the Park District, and everyone who has made this day the day it is, and we have to thank the good Lord for the weather, we want to say welcome to one of the major festivities of Glenview's 100th birthday. We should appropriately start off by thanking the Glenbrook South High School Band and the Springman Band for their wonderful entree. And also, all the kids here should applaud themselves for adding a special zest to this festivity for all the boys and girls. I said we had many people to thank for today's activities, and as I said, the good Lord has cooperated, and we're going to start off today by inviting Reverend Bob Warsko, Emeritus Associate Pastor of the Glenview Community Church, to come up and say an invocation. Reverend Warsko.
Good morning. We come here with a sense of thanksgiving and praise, so would you join me in a moment of prayer? Holy and everlasting God, each of us call you by many names and we worship in a variety of forms. But today we come with thanksgiving as one community to thank you for all who have given time and energy to form this village and to create an atmosphere of cooperation and growth 100 years ago today. This land which we rededicate today as part of the Centennial celebration is a place of public gathering for children and adults alike. To share good times together is very precious to each of us. As children run and play and as parents proudly watch their children and care for them, we ask you to watch over all of us as we give us thanks and wisdom and compassion to move on into the future of our community. As we rededicate this symbol, the Glenview Bear, as a tribute of the kind of community of sharing and cooperation, may each of us take the responsibility to add our trust and love so this community may continue to grow and care about its people. Today we ask your blessing on both the Centennial Park and the statue, so that we might consider this a very special place in Glenview. Bless the children and their parents who play here, bless the citizens who relax here, and bless the leadership that has made this a reality. So guide each of us to share your love for each other, not only here in Glenview, but throughout the world. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Warsko. We now go from God to country and turn to the Glenbrook South and Springman Band as they lead us in the national anthem. It is appropriate that our audience is made up largely of children and students. Glenview was founded 100 years ago as a place out in the country, a train stop, a place to live. The citizens of Glenview in the early days quickly found out that Glenview would be a great place to raise their families. And over the 100 years that have passed, Glenview has come to be known as a great place, not only to live, but to raise families. It was my privilege for 24 years to work with the kids of Glenview, and it is something that I always relish and cherish in my career. It is great to see the kids today, most of them not even in the schools when I left a short 4 years ago. But they're supported by the teaching staff, by the parents, by the administrators, and by the community that helps them grow and be nourished. It's appropriate that today's park is being dedicated not only to the village of Glenview, but to the children of Glenview. And we're going to be talking about that as we go on during the day. The program is going to focus on the park, on the Jackman Bear, on the statue of the young girl reading to her little brother who was plain by a train, very appropriately in the shadows of both the library and the train station, that the sculpture, and I hope you all have a chance to take a look at it, that the sculpture portrays both the library and the train station, but more importantly, it portrays children. Children who are part of our present and very definitely our future. So it gives me great pleasure today to MC and coordinate the activities and to introduce you to the people that have made Glenview the way it is today and very definitely have contributed to the festivities that we are celebrating today. There are a number of individuals who have taken special roles in today's activities that I would like to introduce personally. And I would hope that they would stand, and I ask you to hold your applause until I introduce all of them, and then make sure we give them a great big round of applause because they've done a super job. A young lady who's been president of the Village of Glenview for several years. She's visited many of your schools to talk to you. She is almost everywhere that I am, so I know that she must be many more places that I'm not. She's everywhere, our president, Nancy Furfer. Hold your applause, and then we're going to get to everyone afterwards. There's a gentleman, Nancy, Mrs. Furfer, and the board are the ones that make the rules that run the city. But there are people that work day and night to keep the city going. They hire the police, they hire the public works people. They supervise all the things that go on in the village, the building of roads, the planting of trees, and things of that nature. And the person that is responsible for heading all of that up is our village manager, Paul McCarthy. Paul? Where did Paul go? I know he's around someplace. He's back there, way back in the back. Paul, raise your hand. They want to know that someone does work in this village. There he is, back there. Okay, the chairman of our commission, the Centennial Commission, and former president of the Village of Glenview, Jim Smurls. The chairman of the Park District Foundation, former member of the Park District Board, Mike Downing. The president of the Glenview State Bank and a general contributor to today's activity, Paul Jones. The president of the Chamber of Commerce, the chairman of the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce, Pat Dunn. The president of the Chamber of Commerce, Kathy Miles. The president of the Park District Board, John Winnan. The general superintendent of the Park District, Tom Richardson. Glenview's Youth of the Year, Kate Forget. Kate, I believe, is over here. You've met the Associate Pastor Emeritus from the Glenview Community Church, Reverend Warsko, Bob Warsko. The gentleman who is responsible for coordinating and setting up today's festivities, the person without whom we would not have today's activities as they are today, Brian Boyd. Angelo DiPaolo, who is the president of DiPaolo Construction and Paving, but also a generous contributor and a longtime resident, and a generous contributor to the establishment of this park. Angelo DiPaolo. Right there. Okay. And Wendy Roberg, who is with the Northern Trust Bank and also a generous contributor to today's park development. Wendy? Wendy is right there. Let's give them all a round of applause. You know, we introduced about a dozen people, and these people all have contributed significantly to today and to our community, but they can't do it alone. Many of the people in the audience are people who make these things happen, make this village work. And to you we say thanks, and we wish we could recognize each and every one of you, but I don't have the list. Seriously, we just really don't have the time, but we do want to say thank you very much. We now want to turn to the Glenbrook South Chamber Singers, who are going to entertain us with a medley of songs. Chamber Singers?
I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. You used to rock me in the cradle of your arms. You said you'd hold me till the pains of life were gone. You said you'd comfort me in times like these, and now I need you, and now I need you, and you are gone. So I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Since you've gone and left me, there's been so little beauty, but I know I saw it clearly through your eyes. Now the world outside is such a cold and bitter place. Here inside I have few things that will console. And when I try to hear your voice above the storms of life, then I remember that I was told. Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. I think on the things that made me feel so wonderful when I was young. I think on the things that made me laugh, made me dance, made me sing. I think on the things that made me grow into a being full of pride. Think on these things, for they are true. And I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. I thought that you were gone, but now I know you're with me. You are the voice that sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Yes, I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes.
To all the elementary students, study your music hard, and when you grow up and get into high school, you'll be playing in junior high too, in Springman, you'll be playing in these bands and singing these songs. And you may be on a program 10, 15 years from now, so look forward to that. Thank you very much, Glenbrook South Chamber Singers. It now gives me a great deal of pleasure. It now gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce to you the president of the Village of Glenview, Nancy Furfer. Prior to being president of the village, Nancy served on the village board for several years. But Nancy's interests aren't just relegated to the matters that direct the village and the village operations. Nancy also spent many years working with the school districts that serve our communities. Nancy started her public career, so to speak, as a member of the Board of Education of Glenview Northbrook District 30. She then moved on to the Glenbrook High School District 225 Board of Education before coming to the Glenview Village Board and now is Glenview Village President. As I said earlier, Nancy is the type of person that just effervesces. She's everywhere, and wherever she is, there's a smile and a dynamism. It gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce a good friend, Nancy Furfer.
Well, good morning, everybody. What a beautiful day we have here today. And I hope you're all going to be enjoying this as much as I am. You know, 25 years ago, when Glenview was celebrating its 75th birthday, there was a book put together by the community of Glenview, and on the front cover was a picture of our bear. And underneath it was a poem that was written by Francis Parker, and I'd like to read the words of that poem. The merry little water sprite that's hiding 'neath the spray, a cup of crystal cheer holds out to all who come her way. Fear not the lion nor the bear, they do but watch and guard, that each alike shall have his share, your kindness their reward. And as we all know, long ago in 1917, a man by the name of Ed Jackman gave to Glenview a tall three-tiered fountain dedicated to the children of Glenview. The fountain served a threefold purpose. Since the horse and buggy was the principal means of travel, the lower portion was a large basin or a trough for the watering of the horses. A smaller basin near the bottom served to water dogs and small animals. And a drinking spigot low enough to serve both children and adults with drinking water was there. But on top of it all was the magnificent statue of the bear. And so ever since the generous gift of Ed Jackman, the legacy of the bear has been one of community giving and caring. Doing what you can for the community. The spirit of giving back is the inspiration of the village credo, Hug the Bear. More than embracing a set of lofty principles, Hug the Bear acts as our personal reminder that individually all of us, and collectively all of us, we should continue the acts of giving and serving and caring about the community. That is why this gift of the newly restored bear fountain in this magnificent Centennial Plaza is such an appropriate and meaningful gift to the community from the Centennial Commission, along with so many other generous people in Glenview. It continues the traditions of Hug the Bear, so let us all now continue them for at least the next 100 years. Thank you and enjoy this beautiful day.
Mrs. Pfeffer's predecessor as president is Mr. James Smurls. Jim now is the chairman of the Glenview Centennial Commission, which is responsible for all the activities surrounding the 100th birthday party of the village of Glenview. Jim is another old-time friend. I've known him for years. He also is a gentleman that has done many, many, many good things in this community. And it does give me a great deal of pleasure to introduce him, to say a few words, and then to introduce one of the generous donors that has helped make this Centennial Park possible. Jim?
Thank you, Bill. Let me say, yes, I do accept those most kind remarks and applause on behalf of my three co-chairmen, Jack Mabley, Tom Smith, and Paul Thomas, and the 20 other Centennial Commissioners who have been meeting monthly for over 2 years planning this year's celebration and activities. Yes, 2 years ago, one of the first topics we discussed was what gift, what memento could we come up with to leave to the village, to our students, to our future generation, just as Mr. Jackman did in 1917 when he left us our beloved bear. But like any other project, we needed to assign it to someone that would get the job done for us. And that we did by asking Brian Boyd to spearhead this committee. One of the first ideas they came back to us was to build a nice walkway with beautiful landscaping and possibly some lifelike bronze statues. But we knew those statues were going to cost about $20,000 to $25,000. And we also knew to do the landscaping right, we were talking about some real hefty dollars. Then all of a sudden, Paul Jones of the Glenview State Bank said, don't worry about it. We'll pay for the statue. And Northern Trust Bank said, do it and do it right. And not only would they pay for the landscaping and the amenities, but they would also decorate it every year for us on their holiday budget. Then we thought, hey, maybe we can go for it. Then we thought, wouldn't it be nice if we could build more than a walkway? Wouldn't it be nice if we could build a children's plaza, an extension, if you will, of Jackman Park, where children and their parents could come sit and relax? And then Brian and his committee came back to us and said, hey, the Park District Foundation is renovating the Bear, and possibly we can relocate it in the plaza. So Brian's committee, working with the Park District Foundation and Ken Wexler of the Park District, began designing this beautiful plaza. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we were really talking some big money, over $60,000. And the concern we now had was how were we going to pay for it? And I kept thinking to myself, wouldn't it be nice, wouldn't it be great if we could find a few angels out there? And I kept thinking, who could we approach? And one of the first names that kept popping back in my mind was Angelo DiPaolo. Because not only did I know how much this man loves Glenview, but when we would meet for breakfast many times, Angelo would say, what's new with the commission? What's going on? What can I do? And let me know how I can help. Well, after the plans for the plaza were finalized and it was time to send the specs out for bids, at the very last minute, Bob Quill will recall how we held the bids back and we put another line on the bottom of the bid. And we said, because we are a 501c3 not-for-profit, we said, how much of your total bid are you willing to deduct as a donation? And here are the bids, ladies and gentlemen, that came in. One contractor deducted $250. Another contractor, let's say $1,000. And then when the DiPaolo construction bid was open, it was 100% donated back they were going to build it for nothing. And I'm sure Tom Richardson, Bob Quill, Ken Wexler, just as I did, will never, ever forget when the DePaulo Construction Company bid was open, when this contractor yelled out, "My God, why? Why would he do that?" And I said to myself, I know why he did it, because I know how much this man loves Glenview. And I also know what a kind heart this quiet man has. The next day when I saw Angelo to thank him for this unbelievable gift, I told him, "Angie, when I told you we were sending you a bid and we were hoping possibly you would decide to send in a quote, and I said hopefully you would consider deducting something off your quote, never did I expect you to donate 100% the entire amount." And ladies and gentlemen, his answer to me, or better yet, his answer to our prayers to find an angel, was what I feel truly exemplifies what Glenview is all about. And I think it would be great if Angelo would share with you his answer to me as to why he did such a beautiful thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Angelo DePaulo.
Thank you. Good morning. What a beautiful day to celebrate this beautiful event. The village of Glenview has played a big role in my life, both personally and professionally. After emigrating from Italy and living with my parents in Chicago, Little Italy area, my wife and I made our first home on Glenview Road in 1963. We raised our 4 children and at our current home on Winnetka Road. I thought then Glenview is a good town to live in, and it is still today. And I'm glad that some of my families have followed my footsteps, and presently we have my mom and dad living in Glenview. I have a brother, Tulio, and his family living in Glenview. And soon, next month, my daughter, that a lot of you know, they have the cookie store over here in town, they'll be moving into Glenview. So Glenview is a great town with great future to live in and raise your family. I received my first public work project in 1963 from the village of Glenview. Since then, the Apollo Company has performed many projects in the village, and we established our current main office on Deer Love Road in 1983. While we haven't always seen eye to eye with the Glenview official, our relationship overall has been a good one. Consequently, when Jim Smirlis told me about the Centennial Plaza project, I thought to myself, it was an excellent opportunity to say thank you to the village and the people of Glenview. On behalf of the Apollo Company, my family, and myself, I thank you all.
And again, we thank you, Mr. DePaulo, and your family and your business for making this a reality. Earlier, we thanked the good Lord and God for the weather, but he didn't cooperate entirely. He brought the breezes, and I've been told that the unveiling of the bear will take place naturally if we didn't do it personally. So we're going to adjust the agenda, excuse me, and go to the unveiling of the bear. And we'd like to ask Paul Jones, Mike Downing, Nancy Furfer, Jim Smirls, Steve Buckland, Angelo DePaulo, and Wendy Broberg to go to the bear for the unveiling. Didn't they do a magnificent job in refurbishing it? Special thanks go to the Glenview Park Foundation, the Village of Glenview, and the Glenview Chamber of Commerce for underwriting the cost to recast the statue. We now will have additional entertainment by Glenview South students in celebration of the unveiling. See, when they change the agenda, they don't tell the people they're changing it, but that's okay. We're going to move ahead, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce John Winand. John is the president of the Glenview Park District. The Glenview Park District is the organization responsible for maintaining this park and all the parks in Glenview, as well as the recreational program in our community, the golf courses, and everything else. John has been on the park board for a number of years, and it gives me a good deal of pleasure to introduce him, and he in turn will introduce Michael Downing, who is the chairman of the foundation. John?
Thank you, Bill. We'll try not to keep you waiting too long for the music, but I am pleased to represent the Park District on this very special occasion to dedicate the Centennial Plaza in Jackman Park. Mike Downing, who I'll be introducing, was a commissioner on the Glenview Park Board for almost 7 years. While he was on the board, many projects were discussed which needed funding, which was not readily available. There were frequent discussions about this topic and the need for alternate funding vehicles to enhance recreational programs and facilities of the Park District without raising taxes. And raising taxes is something your parents don't like, and so we tried to find a way to develop a fund. Mike, when he decided to retire from the board in 1994, his goal was to assist the district in this area. After some investigation and work on the concept by Mike and the park board, the Village of Glenview Park Foundation was established in 1996. The first project identified by the board and the foundation was the renovation of the Jackman Bear. From that beginning, Mike has spearheaded many initiatives, but today I'm most pleased as the Park District's president to introduce Mike Downing to give a short history of what has become a well-known public volunteer organization for the community of Glenview. So I'd like to now introduce Mike Downing, chairman of the Glenview Park Foundation.
John, thank you very much. Everybody, welcome to this wonderful event. As John indicated, the Park Foundation was established in March of 1996, and its purpose, its ongoing purpose, is to provide the community, all of you out there, with recreational opportunities and amenities that otherwise would not be available without, as John indicated, raising our tax dollars, which we don't want to do. The foundation initially undertook the restoration of the Bear Fountain. Little did we know that a short 3 years later, we would be here and witness to this incredible success and historic occasion. To you kids that are out there, I want to share my thought with you that over the years, you will find that success is a result of commitment, hard work, learning from failure, persistence, and teamwork. All of these attributes describe the efforts of those who have worked on this project. Certainly, the teamwork between the Village of Glenview, the Chamber of Commerce, and the foundation is something of which we can all be proud. I'd also like to take a moment to thank, maybe I'll take longer than a moment. One of the nice things about Glenview is that we're a train stop. We're still a train stop. And this is the train on the way to Milwaukee. In addition to everybody else you've heard from or heard about today, the foundation has also received some other incredible donations. And I'd like to thank two of those donors. Saturn of Glenview, and the Rotary Club of Glenview. With respect to what we have before us today, I would say to you children, cherish and nurture this plaza and the fountain and statues that are in it. It signifies our community and our dedication to you and your future. I would also like to thank my fellow foundation members and Park District support staff, without whose commitment to this event it would never have been this success. It's just outstanding work on their behalf. And finally, I would just like to add my personal thanks to my very good friends, the DiPaolo family. I can't tell you what they did to make this event a success. Angelo, Lynn, David, who are here, thank you so very much.
Are any of you kids 82 years old? Is anybody 82 years old? There's only, I think, one person here today that's 82 years old, and that's the bear. The bear is 82 years old. That's even older than me by a few years. 82 years ago today, Mr. Jackman gave a speech as he dedicated that bear to you, the children of Glenview, to the children who were here 82 years ago, and to all children, including you. Today we are really proud to have Glenview's Youth of the Year, Kate Forget, come up and share with you the talk which Mr. Jackman gave 82 years ago. And you know, you're going to hear that talk, and it's as appropriate today as it was then. Kate?
This is the original dedication delivered by Edwin S. Jackman on September 15, 1970. There was a time, long, long ago, when our earth was born, when it was rocked in the cradle of creation. We cannot count the ages since the birthday of the earth, nor can we count the ages forward when earth will die. But we may be sure that many million years will come and go before this generous earth of ours denies to living creatures her bountiful protection. Our earth seems large to those who live upon it, with its continents and oceans, its mountains, rivers, plains. But if the children of Glenview could see our earth from Mars or Venus, they would see only a speck of light, a tiny disk of gold or silver, one of innumerable worlds, some living, some dead, that traveled the roadways of the sky. We are on living planet of abundant gardens, fruits, and flowers. We breathe the air through which the robin flies. We share fresh waters with the trout in the woodland streams. We may not imagine other worlds far off, other living planets in the deep spaces of the universe. With fields of waving grain, where crickets chirp, the music of the twilight hour. We may not believe that on these companion worlds are other villages, other Glenviews, where kindness and humanity abide, where children play beneath green trees, and where horse and dog are man's steadfast comrades. The hopes of Glenview children will be fair, their future duties more encouraging, if this thought continues with them, offers many volumes, printed in a common language, direct and clear. The hopes of, she may withhold her secrets if she chooses. Human vanity concerns her not. She may close her book in the face of pretense and open it wide and free to innocence and youth. The mission of this dedication day, the mission of every day, is to appreciate the gentleness and strength of that unseen hand which grades the highways and the pitfalls to our frail endurance and guides our stumbling steps to the paths of truth. Happy children of Glenview, happy children of everywhere. Have your pure fountains in your hearts. You have the song of hillside brooklets in your young voices. You are the little men and the little women who hold the bubbling cup of inspiration for the world. Thank you.
Kate shared with me that when she graduates from Glenbrook South this year, she'll be going to Vanderbilt University in Nashville next year, and we wish her well. She is a symbol of the hundreds of great teenagers and youth we have in our community. It now gives me great pleasure to turn again to the representatives from the Springman and Glenbrook South bands who are going to share with us the Glenview anthem.
Schools of learning are the best, put all of
Glenview youth and children are Glenview's pride, and we know why even more so today. At this point, I would like to again introduce Mr. Downing, Michael Downing, who is going to present a little gift, a little memento to each of the people here who have spoken this evening.
And isn't it a surprise that we have a miniature replica of the Bear Fountain? So if you would hold your applause until we introduce everybody, and then we would appreciate showing them your appreciation for all the effort that they've put forth to make this day the success it has been.
While Mr. Downing is passing those out, can any kid tell me the mistake that was just made in the last 3 minutes? What was it? So I wanted to see how smart you were.
Well, you've got hands up all over the place, Bill. Come in.
No, I said, for all the people who did such wonderful things this evening. And it was this morning. Nobody caught it.
Not a problem. John Winan, please step up. Pat Dunn. Jim Smirlis. Bob Warskow. My very good friend, Manager McCarthy. Make your way up here. Kathy Miles. Steve Buckland from the Chamber of Commerce. President Furfer. I'm out of hands. Tom Richardson. Wendy Roberg. Stay here, don't go anywhere, guys. Kate Forget. Paul Jones from the Glenview State Bank. Angelo DiPaolo. Bob Quill. Kevin Christel. Is he finally coming? Come on. Dr. Attia. Okay.
Bob Quill.
Let's give all these folks a great round of applause. They're the ones that made this happen.
We would just like you to know the replica of the bear is available at the following places for purchase if anyone would like to purchase one. At the Rugen Center, A Little Something, the Cat's Meow, Image Specialties, Glenview State Bank, and Hackney's on Lake. It is available as a memento of our 100th anniversary. In closing, I think we'll start again with the opening of Mr. Jackman's comment that there was a time long, long ago when our earth was born. 100 years ago, Glenview was born. 87 years ago, the bear was born. Sometime between the birth of the bear and today, everybody here was born. We'd like to give special thanks to Terry Dowd and his project team of artisans, Mike Bauer, Mari Stanis, and Mary Block. We would like to thank Production Plus and the sound company that did such a wonderful job with the sound and acoustics throughout the area today. We would like to thank Ken Wexler for designing Centennial Park and Ken and Fred Gullen for coordinating the recasting of the children's fountain. We'd like to thank the Park District staff, Mary Van Arsdell and Mike Moorman, for facilitating today's activities. We'd like to thank an awful lot of people: Bob Quill, Kevin Crystal, Dr. Eileen Riley, and the school's liaison staff for all the coordinating efforts to have all the children here and having them all participate. We'd like to thank our state representative, Beth Coulson, and our county commissioner, Greg Goslin, for passing special proclamations in recognition of today's activities. Right. And finally, we want to thank Brian Boyd, a member of the commission, without whose boundless energy, planning, and foresight, none of us would be here today. Thank you, Brian. This is the gentleman that made it all happen. Children of Glenview, enjoy the bear, enjoy the fountain. Remember, there are 3 watering holes here. One's for horses, one's for dogs. Make sure you go to the one for children. And have a super summer, and I'd like to turn it over to Bob Quill to tell us how to get out of here without trampling each other. Again, thank you and congratulations.